two, one. Welcome to Concerning Pipers, a podcast concerning all things pipes and tobacco. I'm your host, Mike.
Killer Briar, 626, also known as Ant-Man. Just call me Ant-Man.
And I am Jump.
All right. So today we're going to talk to you about a bunch of topics. We're going to cover why pipe smoking, what pipe smoking means to us. Obviously, we're big into the hobby, and we're also going to talk about pipe smoking and the art of slowing down. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the history of pipe smoking and what started it all. We're going to take it all the way back to the Native Americans and the English, and talk a little bit about the Egyptians and what all that good stuff. So, so why pipe smoking? What pipe smoking means to me? It's ritualistic. It's something about when I take the time to sit down and pair my pipe with my tobacco, with my tamper, and I pack that bowl and I light my favorite lighter, and I tamp with my personalized tamper. It brings about a tranquility that is so often lost in today's time, you know. And so pipe smoking, like a good book, it's a means to tend the soul and quiet the mind to me. So Anthony, you want to add to that?
Yeah. And my advice to the hobby is, slow down is not a race. It's not. It's unlike cigarettes where, you have your puff and you get your fix. This isn't for that. For me, this is a form of meditation, contemplation. As a former cigarette smoker, I wish I found this years ago. It's not something that I crave for like I did with cigarettes. This is more something that it's more of a ritual for me, rather than a habit. Like our old friend said, matches 860. It's not a habit; it's a hobby. So, just my advice is, slowing down, taking it easy, and enjoying your tobacco. Like a relationship, for me, I sit down and get to know the blend. Not every blend is for me. I'm slowly getting back into English blends, but there was a time that I loved them, and as I changed, so did my palate, and I went more to Virginias and Burleys, and now I'm getting back into English blends. So it's just one of those things, man. It's a very it's an evolving hobby. So.
Well said. Well said. Jump. What do you think?
I started smoking a pipe in 1986, and I was in the military, and I was stationed in a cold place. We'll just say that, and it was nice to have something warm in my hands, and kept my hands warm. But over time, I actually learned that it helped me to pause, and our family has a saying, and it's live fermata. And those of you who know anything about music, you know that fermata means to wait for an undetermined amount of time. So you pause, you wait, you sustain until the conductor lets you continue. So I've learned, I'm still learning that sometimes life, it's good to pause and just wait until you get the go ahead from whatever that is. Sometimes it's until your friend is done talking. It's just nice to sit down and have a chat, and
right.
Most of the time, it's good to just listen.
Mm-hmm.
We're wired in our microwave society here to blah 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 blah, go to the next person, blah blah blah, go to the next person, blah, we got to have something right now, we got to have it the way we want it. And smoking a pipe causes you to take a break, and if you do it with other people, you can do that together. Take a break, and when there's silence, sometimes it gives you an opportunity to share maybe what's on your mind, and sometimes that's a healer in itself.
Provides fellowship, right?
Yeah.
You know, when we all could get together in a room and take time to share in something that we're passionate about, and that goes for anything in this world. You know, church. It's a church in some sense. To be able to come to a brick and mortar. I think brick and mortar is the most important thing to pipe smoking. And I know they're dying, but if you have the opportunity to go to a brick and mortar in your area, just go. I mean, whether you, and I know a lot of shops will focus on cigars and focus on a brewery, but they may allow smoking inside. Take your pipe and go, and you may meet someone new and have an opportunity to listen to other walks of life. And that's another thing I want to add is don't go there just to talk about yourself. Listen to others and listen to their paths, and that you'll be able to make a friend. I think that's very important. Moving on to our next topic.
Hey Mike, I have a question.
Okay, what's your question, John?
What are you smoking and what you got in your hand?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Actually, what I am smoking right now is some Country Squire Cordial Friends. It's
Cool.
it's a Christmas blend that they came out with this past year. I believe it was this past year. I'm not sure if they did it the year before. But it's a high liqueur chocolate aromatic. It's very, very sweet and very heavy on Cavendish, which I like, and especially this time of day, I like to wind down with something sweet on the palate. So,
nice. You haven't shared your cordial friends with.
I know.
With this cordial
I've
friend.
actually. I'm going to shamelessly plug the Country Squire as well. I've actually got their pocket jar and their satchel, a little bag here that I carry with me. But I've actually got some Cordial Friends in this pocket jar. And so
Very
if you'd
nice.
like to smoke some Cordial Friends with my cordial friend, be my guest.
Sweet.
Right. So
What about you? What you got?
In my Dagner Missouri Meerschaum Poker, I am smoking Bow-Legged Bear. It is a Burley Forward English blend contains Turkish, Burley, Latakia, and Virginia. Very, very good. It's actually why I brought up the whole getting back into English blends, because I smoked this today. I'm like, I think I'm going to start cracking open some of my old English tins that I put aside to replace my Kentucky habit that I've been smoking on lately. I've been really big into Kentucky blends, but I think this might get me back into English blends. It's by Cornell and Deal. If you haven't had it, check it out. Bow-Legged Bear, really good.
cool.
How
Jump.
are you,
What about you? What you got?
This is a Peterson B10 Capit pipe, and I've got Peterson Nightcap in it. So
Nice.
that I just lit up. I started late. I was busy with other duties, so I started my bowl a little late.
Okay, before we move on, I actually changed gears. My Cordial Friends ran out, so I actually started smoking some Seattle Pipe Club Plum Pudding Special Reserve. It's the first time with this blend. I actually have never had this, so I've been saving it for the launch of this podcast. So
Nice.
we're gonna fire this up and move on to the next topic. So we talked a little bit about the art of slowing down with the pipe you covered, and it allowed you to pause. And Anthony touched on it's not like cigarettes. It's not meant to be rushed to the end of your bowl and to get that fix, to get that nick hit. It's every tobacco has its own personality, and you have to find what matches with you. Like I like a lot of English blends. Jump, you like
Whatever's in my pipe.
what Jump likes, whatever. He's been at this so long. He's the old timer. He just grabs whatever's around and packs it. Anthony's likes a lot of Burley and Virginia. He's got some full Virginia flake over there, I believe, that was a gift from Jump here. So that's You're looking at an expensive tin there. That's not for
Nice age on it.
nice
isn't it?
age on it too. What's the age on it?
2010.
2010. Samuel Guile with full Virginia plate.
2010.
That's a
wow.
treat. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Wow, that's okay.
That's a treat.
Lucky man. Well, so like the art of slowing down means to me that it's not a race to see how fast you get to the end of your bowl. It's meant to pair that particular pipe that you bought, that your grandfather passed down to you, or that you bought on smokingpipes.com because it looked so cool, and it showed up on your doorstep. You waited for the Mr. Postman, and you finally got it in your hand, and it's meant to slow down, take your time, and it's like a relationship. You want to form a relationship with that pipe and that tobacco. So you need to be willing to carve out, I would say, at least an hour to an hour and a half to really enjoy your pipe. So with that being said, I want to give a shout out to Heretics Pipe Club. They're on Instagram and YouTube. They've been around for a while in the YTPC and the IGPC, the Instagram pipe community. He hooked me up with some rare sample tobacco packs here. So what I've got here, I'm going to read them off in order here. So we've got Cornell and Deal Star of the East Flake from 2018.
So that's going to have a lot of Orientals.
And it's going to have, so interesting enough, some viewers will know that Syrian Latakia is going to be in a lot of these, and they stopped coming into tobacco because, obviously the war with Syria, the battle with Syria, we weren't able to get their Latakia anymore. We stopped their trade. So we got some GLP's Westminster from 2018.
Okay.
Some McClellan's in the YTPC notes as
That
well.
is a
Some
treat
McClellan's Frog on the Bayou.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah,
From
right?
2017. Yeah, Jump said he's going to take that for
Nice knowing you,
himself.
Mike.
Some GLP's Union Square from 2015.
What is that, a Virginia blend?
Union Square. Can we get a little insight on Union Square? Can we pull that up? I'm not familiar either. Let me smoke my pipe light my pipe while he's.
It's 2015. Said 15 next to it.
Yeah, 2015.
Wow, that's some good age. That's some good age.
GLP, Union Square, Fog City.
English?
It is a blended sliced cake of high-grade flue-cured leaf from beautiful sweet brights to deep earthy reds without the added sugars and flavorings common to many Virginia flakes. It's rich on the palate, evolving in layers with the clean, natural sweetness of pure tobaccos. It offers a pleasant room note and a delightful finish.
Ooh, that's right.
For
That's
those
straight Virginia.
seeking the pure Virginia experience, try Union Square.
Wow,
Good stuff. Awesome.
that sounds good. So, moving on, we got some GLP's Gaslight from 2017. So that's super cool. Some Cordell and Deal Sansopolino from 2019. Now this is another one I want a little insight on. Jump, if you could. Sansopolino from Cornell and Deal. I'm not familiar with that blend. Let's talk about that one a minute. But while he's looking that up, I'm going to talk about how that's what I like a lot about pipe tobacco is the research behind when you're looking at blends on whether it be smokingpipes.com, Country Squire. You walk into your brick and mortar and you see that beautiful tin art on the shelf, and you read the back label like you read a back of a shampoo bottle in the shower, when you leave your phone in the other room. But you read that back label and it talks about where it comes from, what it's made with, the Latakia, the Turkish, the Orientals, the Perique, what have you. That's what I like, about tobacco.
So this is San Sepolcro, is
Okay.
how it's spelled, and it's
Small batch.
yeah, it's a small batch project from Cornell and Deal. Carefully blended, unique Italian dark fired florets and some of the finest red Virginias of North Carolina.
Oh wow.
So it's got a clove-like undertone. That's probably the best description there. What I gave you.
Okay.
It's got some cigar leaf, some Kentucky, and some Virginias.
Ooh.
All right, well, that sounds right up Anthony's alley.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So what, Jump? Why don't we give that to Anthony,
San
since
Sepolcro.
that's his
Wow.
favorite type of tobacco. So I think that's important for
And that's a broken flake cut as well. So
So Heretics Pipe Club, shout out to you for hooking us up, and we're gonna continue on. We've actually got some more to look at here. We've got some Esoterica and Soda Bed from 2019.
very nice.
So we all know that Esoterica is a hard to get, rare tobacco. So that's gonna be. We got some GLP's Quiet Nights from 2016.
Very nice.
We know that's going to have that Syrian Latakia.
Mm-hmm.
And some G's Plum Cake from 2017. And the last one is some Esoterica Pembroke
Pembroke.
from 2016. So that got a general cheer around the table. So that's exciting.
It's a legend. I've only heard good things. I've never actually had it, but I've heard good things about it.
So
Very
that's
nice.
that's a package I got, and I got this completely as a gift from Bo Parker at Heretics Pipe Club. Great guy, I've got and that's what I love about the community of Instagram and YouTube is we all come together as a family. I don't know Bo Parker from another guy across the street, but we've been chatting a little bit on Instagram and connecting through this hobby and grown to know each other through this hobby. So it's definitely super awesome there. So yeah, moving on, we want to touch on, this is going to be kind of reedy. This is kind of like the meat of our episode, but I wanted, I get a lot of, I reached out to the community before we started this, and was a topic that came up that people wanted to know about was the history of pipe smoking, where it started, how it started. So we're going to dive into it. And I actually got permission from Jay Bennett Alexander over at Holtz Cigar, Holtz.com. They're one of their writers, made an article that was so well done, so
really was.
well spoken
Concise.
and precise, and it flowed so well that I literally couldn't have said it better myself. So I reached out and asked permission to use their article in this episode.
Before we do this, why don't we go around the table and say what we thought the origin
Okay, interesting.
was?
Okay, so I always thought it started with hobbits in the Shire. That's what I like to think. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But that's how I would like to
To have thought.
have thought, right? I grew up watching Lord of the Rings, and I was always, that's where we got our name, Concerning Pipers, from Concerning Hobbits from Howard Shore. But
Concerning Hobbits is a musical piece from the Howard Shore direction and soundtrack.
yeah, there you go.
I occasionally have a problem remembering things,
Yeah, it's all right.
and so that's how we got that name.
That's
So
right.
where did you think the origin of pipe smoking actually was?
I was pretty spot on. With,
Okay. Well, then don't say anything.
yeah, I just won't say anything. I kind of knew, so. Anthony, what about you?
Same.
Same,
I
we kind of.
yeah.
You know, so shut up, Anthony.
Yep.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
so
I didn't really know exactly. I had heard, tribal Indians had a certain beginnings, in America, but I certainly wasn't dumb enough to think that it started in America and we spread it across the world before America was even civilized.
Yeah.
And
us Americans, we borrowed from everyone
yeah,
else.
so
And I use borrowed loosely.
yeah,
you know.
so we asked that in the shop. You remember that day when
I
we
do
asked
remember,
it?
yeah.
And some of the people in the shop said, "Well, American Indians did that. Started with American Indians." And I kind of thought that, but I wasn't. I knew that they couldn't have been the very beginning, and so I kind of thought that maybe it had started somewhere in Roman and Egyptian, somewhere.
Yeah,
That sort
right.
of, but I wasn't sure. So I really, it puzzled me.
Yeah.
When you asked, I was like, man, I don't know.
Well,
I never really.
yeah, I'm a big history buff. You know, I
Yeah.
started, I was always real interested in class. If I wasn't thinking about recess or lunchtime, I was interested in humanities. I had a professor over at Chat State that I really liked well. Real interested in his humanities class. He taught it well. Was very passionate. And so Mesopotamia, Egypt, was, the start of civilization, and that was always a very interesting topic to me. So to kick us off here, I'm going to kind of read a little bit of this excerpt. So today, sales of pipes and pipe tobacco are minuscule compared with cigar sales. Some studies place pipe smoking down around 80% over the past decade. So we're a dying breed. We're trying to keep it alive. So even Dunhill, an iconic British pipe manufacturer famous for putting a white dot on its pipes, is shutting their doors and taking their cigar trade with them. But there's still a certain elegance to enjoying a bowl of pipe tobacco and having no small amount of skill in keeping it lit. There's a whole history to it. The first smoky pipe made of copper comes to us from Egyptian culture dating back to 2000 BC. Found buried inside tombs though unclear if used for ceremonially or recreationally. Romans, Greeks, Celts, and Nordic tribes also smoked pipes, picking up the hobby from their eastern neighbors. Herodotus, known as the father of history, noted Iranian tribes smoking burning leaves in 500 BC. So I don't think those guys were smoking Orlik Golden Slice, but
Right.
They sure would have liked it.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sure would have liked this, right? Keep going here a little bit. So tobacco was used by Native Americans as far back as 1500 BC, mostly for religious practices. The peace pipe was used as part of reconciling conflicts between rival tribes. The use of tobacco in the New World was discovered by Christopher Columbus at the same Columbus. It was used by Christopher Columbus, and Columbus found the natives smoking pipes and took some samples of the tobacco back to Europe with him. So pipe smoking in Europe really took off in the 16th century when John Nicot, after whom nicotine is named, made tobacco popular in his native France after a stint as an ambassador to Portugal, where he was introduced to the medicinal values of the tobacco leaf. That's all I've got there. So that's where I'll leave it to Jump to pick up if he wants to continue on.
Sure. Nicot took tobacco in the form of leaves and snuff, took it to France, and ultimately pipe smoking became the first popular way of consuming tobaccos. Pipes in Europe were first made in chalk and in clay. They were relatively inexpensive and easy to produce. Iron pipes quickly followed in Norway. If you think about it, that makes a little bit of sense since they made a lot of stuff out of iron. In 1720, meerschaum pipes made of soft white clay-like substance became popular due to the artistic carvings of the pipes and long stems. They drew well, but became intensely hot, and the smoker would have to hold them by the stem. Touching the bowl of the pipe would burn their fingers. It took about 100 years for the meerschaums to fall off of the top rung, yielding mostly to pipes made of briarwood, which holds to this day.
Excellent. Well, that concludes the history lesson.
So if you want to go to holts.com, HOLTS.com, they have a little section there on their menu. You can look it up. They have a great...
By J. Bennett Alexander. You know, and I can't say how well he wrote this out. You know, it's obvious that he took his time in the research, and we appreciate him saving us some time of looking up all this research. And so
he talks about the pipe shapes and talks about other information.
I want to expand on that. I think in our next episode, I want to talk about pipe shapes, our favorite pipe shapes, and all the pipe shapes. So a little prequel there to what we're going to talk about next week.
Cool. So. And by next week, we mean the next time we do a podcast.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's next in a couple weeks. We're going to try to sit down and come together. What do we agree on? Once a month, I believe we talked.
Yeah, at least, and have we're going to have guests on, and so anticipate us having a chat session, and so that you can ask questions, and also we'll have guests live on the podcast as well, so you can be part of the podcast, because we are not the show. You are the show, so
that's right.
We're just
well said.
We're just the accommodators. We're the traffic directors of the show.
Well said. I wanted to kind of do this so we could give the listener, the viewer, the experience of what it's like to sit around at a brick and mortar pipe shop and listen to a couple guys ramble on that don't really know much about much, but we know a little bit together. You know, and we want to help the new pipe smoker. I know it's a daunting task to pick up a pipe and keep it lit and
go out every 2 minutes, and you're like, oh man, I'm not doing this.
Oh man, I'm on my 30th match. How do I? What am I doing wrong?
Somebody gave you a pipe and you can't keep it lit.
Definitely teaches patience. That's for sure.
It does. Well, do we have anything else we want to?
I want to brag on Anthony. Anthony, sitting right here next to me, Killer Briar 626. Ant-Man has a knack for making blends, and if you can weasel out of him a care package, you need to do that. Go to his channel, which is Killer Briar 626 on YouTube, and he is not shy about talking about his blends. When by that I don't mean that he brags about them. I mean that he tells you how to make his blends. And so if you are the kind of person that you have some burley and you've got some Virginias and you've got
a gigantic tub of Carter Hall like myself that can go to the ceiling, you know,
you can really do this. And I'm going to tell you something. His blends are amazing. They are so good. I have a little bit of his Appalachian Sunrise left, and it's one of my favorite blends of all time. And I've been smoking a pipe since 1986. So he is really good at it. He's got the knack for it. Not everybody does. I even throw blends together every now and then, but I just get lucky sometimes. But he is really good at it, and so I would encourage you to go check out his channel.
I'm actually in a couple weeks I'll be shooting on that channel the Appalachian Sunrise you're speaking of. I'll be making it, and I'm going to post that video so everyone can see. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Excellent.
One of my favorite parts of the hobby is blending. So.
Oh yeah. Wow.
We should put a plug in for Muletown.
Right. So we're actually taking a journey to Columbia, Tennessee, 3 weeks' time to go to the Muletown Pipe Show.
It's exciting.
Very exciting. It's going to be hosted by Briarworks. You could check out the show www.muletownpipeshow.com, and they have tickets for sale either $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Cool thing, Jeremy Reeves himself from Cornell and Deal is to be doing a blending demonstration. I know Anthony's excited for that.
There you go.
And he's gonna have some tables set up. I believe actually, Shane Ireland from SmokingPipes.com, he's the director, is gonna be there hosting a table as well. There's gonna be artisans from around the nation, maybe even around the country. I'm not sure who all really is gonna be there. They're gonna host. They're gonna post on their Instagram, I believe, a list of all the vendors and artisans that are gonna be there. I'm hoping to score some sweet swag, some a cool Muletown pipe, or I'm actually in the market for a Bing. I've been asking around to try to get my hands on a Bing pipe. A Bing is actually from Bing Crosby, and it's a long stem and a short, narrow bowl, which I like for my Virginias. So.
He keeps trying to. Every time he sees mine, he asks me if I
I'm
want to
like,
trade.
hey man, you gonna get rid of that pipe anytime soon? You gonna come off your old crusty hands off that pipe? No, I was just kidding. But
Rumor has it that the Nashville Mafia is going to be there. So, I've notified the local authorities.
yeah, Nashville Mafia.
So those two knuckleheads are going to show up.
Yeah,
If they can get Pride away from a soccer game on Saturday afternoon.
but
Their show is on Wednesday nights
okay.
on YouTube.
Anybody else I could think to shout out?
Parsimonious Piper.
Oh yeah.
He's a good channel to watch.
Yep.
The
Parsimonious Piper, NW Piper, great.
NW Piper.
Yeah.
He's on right now.
Yep.
Saturday nights.
Yes, he
We're
is.
shooting this on a Saturday
Yeah.
night.
And then,
We got a great Bible study.
Yeah, he does.
another guy, the Spurgeon Piper. I
Yeah.
talk about him all the time.
Great.
Spurgeon Piper.
Hobbiton Piper's good too.
Yeah, the Spurgeon Piper, he was the first channel I found for pipe smoking when I was sitting on my front porch with my country gentleman that I had bought at Burns Tobacco was where I first went before I found this beautiful shop. I bought a Cobb Country Gentleman from them and a tin of I got their Lane 1Q. I think that's the first aromatic that a lot of people go to when they first start pipe smoking. Anyway, I was sitting on my front porch and I'm like, damn, I can't keep this thing lit. What's going on here? So I went on YouTube and went down the rabbit hole and found his channel. And man, he is just well-spoken, well put together channel that helps out new pipe smokers. And can't say enough about that guy. So
I got one thing to say. Shout out to your local tobacconist or brick and mortar. I mean, like Mike touched on it earlier, this is a dying breed, and if we can help out small business owners, especially in this economy, is very important. As a lover of the hobby, I highly support my local brick and mortar as much as I can. It is very convenient going on Smoking Pipes or TobaccoPipes.com and ordering a tin. But there's nothing like the connection that you get from your tobacconist when you walk in that brick and mortar and have that conversation about that tobacco that you love. Shout out to, like he mentioned, Burns Tobacconist in Chattanooga. We're in a little town, Ringgold, Georgia, at Dapper Gentleman's. They actually just stocked up on a few tins. They got a pretty good cigar selection, a nice little shop, great people. Dapper Gentleman. Check us out. So, that's my shout out. Support your local B&M.
well said.
In Chattanooga, there's a little shop on Main Street right downtown called the Cigar Man. And he's a great place to go and grab cigars and sit down and talk and chill out. It reminds me a lot of Dapper Gentleman. So another good place. They've got some
Vodka.
pipe tobacco.
It's vodka in the water bottle. I'm just
All right. Well,
Can't think of anything else to add.
we'll add more things to this podcast and come up with an opener and some jingles and other whiz bang.
Some Stazzy
Thanks.
beats.
Yeah.
We'll shot her up real good for you,
Yeah,
Clark.
yeah.
Jump's a hell of a beatboxer. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll
that's
take us out.
So
We'll have Jump in a kilt playing bagpipes
Oh,
next
God.
episode. Be sure to tune in for that.
Please no. No back
so we anticipate more to come.
Well done. Cut. It's a wrap.
Good stuff.
Bye.